address you as Mourya?
Yes, sir. You can address me.
So Mourya, welcome to the mock interview.
Thank you, sir.
Mourya, tell us briefly about yourself, your academic qualifications, your work experience, and your main hobbies.
Yes, sir. My name is Mourya, sir. I am from Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. I have completed my graduation in Electronics and Communication Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Warangal. Currently, I'm working as a firmware engineer in Micron Technologies. It's a semiconductor. It's in semiconductor industry. My hobbies are playing badminton and traveling, sir.
So where are you working at the moment?
Yes, sir. I'm currently working in Hyderabad.
Proper Hyderabad. So tell me, Mourya, you must be very happy that Vizag has been chosen as the new capital, one of the capital cities.
Yes, sir. It is the executive currently the executive capital, sir. Chosen as the executive.
So how do you find it better than Amravati?
So firstly, Vizag has the infrastructure. With respect to Amravati, it's a greenfield capital. Everything has to be built up right from the scratch. Whereas Visakhapatnam, all the infrastructure that is necessary for running a capital are present. Apart from that, it is well connected through all forms, through airways, roadways, railways, and even it has a port. So in that way, I think Visakhapatnam is better than Amravati.
Mourya, you have mentioned that you are fond of traveling.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, in the last, say, 1 or 2 years, maybe because of COVID, you have not traveled. Tell me one place which you liked while traveling in India, and any place in outside India if you have traveled.
I have never traveled outside India, sir, unfortunately. But within India, it is very hard to say one place. I have traveled several places which are very diverse in nature. It's difficult to compare, but personally, the experience I enjoyed visiting Western Ghats, sir, in Karnataka. So I went for a trek in Western Ghats, and it was more of an adventurous trek, and that experience is something which I would rate it the best among everything. So
by not going out of India, basically you are promoting domestic tourism in India?
It happened that way, sir. I did not intentionally do it. I could not get a chance to go outside India.
So what is this Dekho Apna Desh campaign?
It is a central government scheme, sir, to initiative, not scheme per se, to promote domestic tourism, to encourage Indian citizens to visit all the places that are present in our country. India is rich in places, I mean, beautiful places. So it encourages people to visit those places, boosting the domestic tourism industry.
So tell me, there is one inbound tourism and there is outbound tourism.
Yes, sir.
So when you say that don't go abroad and get people from outside, because you come to India, but don't go outside India.
Sir,
is it possible?
It would not be possible, sir. It is just urging Indians to visit India. It is never restricting Indians to go out and visit other places. It was never explicitly mentioning that not to visit outside countries, but it's just promoting our own country.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, this air bubble arrangement that was done, you're aware of air bubble during COVID? Some international traveling had taken place. They called it air bubble.
So as far as I recollect, that arrangement is between India and Maldives, sir. A lot of people travel to Maldives with the help of this air bubble arrangement.
There were many other countries, not just Maldives, even UK, Russia, all the major countries also. Okay. So you think it is time fit for international commercial traveling also?
I think we can gradually open up, sir, on case by case basis, like based on which countries the COVID impact is less, selectively allowing, and also with restrictions like mandating quarantine before leaving, mandatory RT-PCR tests, and even also accepting people from other countries also. We have to make sure specify the rules, selectively allow people to come to our country. That way we can slowly open up, gradually open up. Since that in a lot of countries we are seeing this pandemic is receding, so I think it is better, and that way airlines can also sustain.
Very recently, the Indian Foreign Minister and the Foreign Minister of China met on the sidelines of SCO, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what got transpired during this meeting, and what was the narrative which India issued after the meeting?
Sir, the meeting is related to to resolve the existing issues between both the countries. India want a de-escalation of the conflict that is currently present in the Ladakh sector. It is saying that as long as the situation did not diffuse, it is difficult to have a normal relationship with China. When the borders are in a conflict situation, it is very difficult for us to maintain a normal situation with China. So it is urging China to de-escalate the situation and diffuse the tension along the border by taking initiatives such as pulling back its troops, respecting the status quo in the borders, and etc.
What are your views about the new drone rules, draft drone rules?
Sir, I think it has made it mandatory to register for people to operate drones of a particular category. That is, drones are classified into micro, mini, depending on the size and the payload. And as far as I recollect, the nano drones or the very smallest drones were exempted. But however, the subsequent higher up categories, they have, I mean, people have to get mandatory registered with DGCA in order to fly drones. I think it is required, first thing, because as we see even today, drones are becoming a major security issue. We have seen a attack on Jammu Air Base using drones by other countries. And also it helps in regulating the traffic. Drones can become a very big player in the air traffic in coming days. A lot of companies might use drones for delivering their goods, and even hobbyists will try to fly their drones. So in this case, it is necessary to have a regulatory mechanism. However, even for the nano drones also, the smaller drones also, I think it is better to include in that regulation. Right now, they are unregulated. I think it is better to regulate them.
So on the whole, Mourya, is it a pro-drone friendly policy or an anti-drone friendly policy?
It is we cannot say it's an anti-drone policy, sir. Any policy, any technology has to be regulated. In fact, by regulating a technology, I think the drones can be used for a legitimate purpose and they can't be misused. So in that way, I think it's a broad drone policy on this.
So Mourya, I now pass on to Mr. Khanna. So he will now take questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So Mourya, I heard that you have got some work experience also, because 2014 you did your BTech, and then you have worked also. So which companies have you worked?
So from 2014 to 16, I worked in SanDisk, sir. It manufactures pen drives and micro SD cards. Yeah. And currently from 2020, I'm working in Micron Technologies.
So very quickly, for both these companies, tell me your experience of working with SanDisk and the latest company that you said, Micron.
So both are similar kind of work. Both are memory-based solutions only, sir. In SanDisk, I used to work on designing pen drives I'm a part of the pendrive team. My job is related to designing specifications and see the product reaches out. Product is meeting the required specifications and reaches out to the market. So that is my job in SanDisk, sir. I'm a systems engineer there. Currently in Micron also, it's a similar job. In car infotainment system, we use memory chips. So these chips, my team manufactures. So for that, I'll be writing firmware, and that is my job.
So it is said that future of automobile industry is going to be mostly software based. That is, it will be. What are the problems for India not to manufacture the chips and import the same? How can we improve manufacturing of chips and semiconductors in India?
Sir, there is some disturbance. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, you talked of chips, especially in the
Yes,
automobile sector. So it is said that future
yes,
of automobile sector is completely dependent on chips,
yes, sir.
because the vehicles will have, especially electric vehicle, will have 90% chip based technology. So why India is not able to encash on the manufacturing of chip in-house rather than Korea and other countries doing it? And is any effort being done to promote chip manufacturing in India?
Sir, regarding the first question, why India is not able to manufacture enough chips compared to Korea and China? First thing, chip designing is a very capital intensive sector, sir. It needs a lot of investments, and there are very strong players present in China and Korea, especially Taiwan. TSMC, it is the major manufacturer of chips in the world. So companies are not willing to invest that much amount in India when there are already existing players who are delivering chips. And secondly, it's a rapidly changing technology also, sir. With every 1 or 2 years, the technology node changes in chip design, and subsequently new investment has to come up. So all these factors are deterring, because in India, to manufacture chips in India, also there's lack of skilled human resource compared to those countries with respect to chip design and foundry management. So we don't have enough human resource to attract the company. That's also one more reason, sir. So I think the situation is currently changing. Government slowly is coming up with new schemes like product link, PLI scheme, product link incentivization, and electronic manufacturing clusters. These kind of schemes, it is trying to attract investments with respect to electronic sector in India. I think with the domestic players such as Reliance or any big corporate, it has to tie up with external players and invite them to India so that both of them can set up the plant and start producing chips. In that way, I think India can also become a major chip player.
Government of India recently took Department of Public Enterprise under Ministry of Finance. Do you think BSNL should also be placed under Ministry of Finance, or it is best under Department of Telecom?
I don't know, sir. I
Okay.
think BSNL should be present under Department of Telecom only, because it can be managed better with respect to Telecom Department rather than Ministry of Finance. I can't concretely comment on this.
Okay, so my second question is, should we have BSNL at all in view of disinvestment policy of the government? Do you think BSNL is a core sector, public sector undertaking? What is your opinion on continuation of BSNL?
Sir, I think BSNL has to be there because even whenever I visit any rural or remote area as part of my traveling experiences, the only network that is available is BSNL. All these so-called corporate or the private enterprises, they could never cover those areas even today. So public sector, apart from profit making, it also helps as a useful service providing mechanism to all those areas which are not cost competitive for this private sector. So with respect to that, I think it is still relevant. BSNL is still relevant, especially now that India is planning for initiatives like Digital India and improving connectivity to remote areas. BSNL is still relevant today. It has to continue.
You talked of these private players, and telecom services in India, perhaps as compared to the global pricing, is the cheapest. So what kind of business model is being followed by these private telecom companies, and how they are able to achieve the cost efficiency?
So as you said, the data rates or the telecom prices are one of the cheapest in India compared to the other countries. And it can be attributed to the intense competition that is present among the telecom networks today. Due to that competition, telecom providers are ready to take losses also just to capture more market share. So in that way, the prices, they are running at a reduced prices. But however, when we see today their balance sheets, most of the telecom service providers are running under losses. In fact, one telecom provider, Vodafone Idea, it is on the verge of bankruptcy. So I don't think it is a sustainable model, whatever they are running. For now, they are able to capture market share and provide provide services at a cheaper cost. But in long run, I think it is definitely, I think they are definitely going to raise the price or with time the technology becomes cheaper and they might find it cost competitive.
So I think you are imagining that each service provider is providing his own towers. So I think look again into your facts, whether towers are shared between all the service providers, because that's a huge big capital cost which all of them have saved. One or two quick questions. What is Internet of Robotic Things, and which industry is going to benefit from Internet of Robotic Things?
So Internet of Robotic Things is a new technology that is based on connectivity or sensors, a network of sensors which connects information and helps in automating processes. For example, if we take a robot, it can have multiple sensors that can, for example, monitor room temperature, or that can monitor a person's heart rate, or that can based on the sensors, it gets information, it processes, and it acts accordingly. So I think that is Internet of Robotic Things. With respect to which industry it influences, it can influence multiple industries, sir. Manufacturing sector is something which can be impacted highly because of this, because gradually everything will move to automation, and the jobs under manufacturing sector will be under risk.
Okay, last question. Space tourism is just starting.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about India? Should India privatize space technology, and should India also take part in space tourism?
Sir, I think India should allow private players to pursue the space tourism, but it should not, I think it should not allow the ISRO to take part in the space tourism. ISRO, I think, should focus its efforts more on existing developing new technologies or using the existing satellites for the benefit of the country in fields such as medical, health, disaster management, etc. But I think it should gradually open up space for other private players. Like it can help in technology sharing, it can help in mentoring them, so that they can come up with these technologies where they can start commercial ventures on space tourism.
Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Sumesh.
Yes. Okay, good evening, Mourya.
Good evening.
So I would like to talk about your optional subject, anthropology.
Okay.
People in tribal areas are mainly suffering from erosion of their identity. So how would you address this issue of identity crisis among tribal population?
Sir, first thing to address this identity crisis is empower the local bodies present in tribal areas. We have the PISA Act today, which is intended to strengthen the tribal Gram Sabhas or the traditional tribal village assemblies. So in a lot of places, the act was not properly implemented, or even if it's implemented, it is unable to use powers vested under that act. So once it is properly implemented, then I think tribal identity, the problems of tribal identity can be resolved, because people have control over their resources and the way they can use it, and they can also suggest governments about their needs and necessities and what kind of development they want. Rather than government enforcing their will on tribals, I think tribals can suggest government on what kind of development they require.
As a student of anthropology, tell me what socio-economic problems can be solved with the help of anthropology, or rather with the knowledge of anthropology.
Sir, with respect to social problems, I think health-related problems can be definitely solved, because a lot of tribal communities today are facing the problem of malnutrition, and it is due to, majority of them are due to their traditional practices, and they are deprived of certain intake of certain nutrients. So with the knowledge of the culture of the tribal communities, we can know what kind of food they are taking, what kind of nutrients they are missing, and government can come up with with such initiatives which can help in promoting their nutritional status. And also with respect to economic problems, I think the tribal development programs or the ITDA initiative that is present today, anthropological knowledge can help in suggesting schemes in tribal areas which can gain their acceptance. A lot of schemes today government is bringing up, like the developmental projects and all, they are causing displacement of tribals rather than empowering them. So with the knowledge of anthropology, we know how tribals, what is tribal economy, how do they interact with the resources, and with that I think we can improve their economic conditions.
Moving on to economy, can you compare major macroeconomic indicators of India and compare them with China and USA?
Sorry, sir, I can't recollect the exact figures.
So can you tell me your view on future of cryptocurrency in India?
Yes, sir. Cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency-based technologies currently in India, they are allowed because of the Supreme Court judgment last year, even though RBI has banned earlier. But still, there is a skepticism with respect to the government on how we view these technologies. Like RBI is still passing directives to banks to track the transactions on cryptocurrency, or in fact not to allow the cryptocurrency transactions based on cryptocurrency. because they feel that this cryptocurrency can be misused, or it is highly unregulated and it is not suitable. But I think with a lot of other players across the world gradually picking up this cryptocurrency, there might be a change in our perception, and government will gradually open up for these cryptocurrencies, and government can use it as a form of money. RBI can use it as another alternative form of money in a regulated form. Whatever shortcomings today we see with cryptocurrency, that it is unregulated, it is promoting transactions, illegal transactions such as smuggling or terrorism, terror financing, all these problems. I think with time they get resolved, and I think gradually we will open up to the cryptocurrency.
Indian economy is facing inflationary tendencies. So can you tell me various steps that RBI or Government of India should take to curb inflation?
Yes, sir. So RBI, currently government and RBI, they have formed this monetary policy committee, which tracks the inflation, and based on this inflation, targeting this inflation, they announce this repo rates and monetary policy. RBI periodically announces its monetary policy so that it can keep inflation under check. So it is till now from 2016, when the monetary policy committee has been constituted, inflation is under check. But the factors when we see which are causing inflation, such as rise in fuel, global fuel prices, rise in oil prices, cooking oil prices, all these things, these are very large scale problems, and I think government should come up with alternative forms. For example, to counter this oil, we are trying to adopt electrical vehicles, and similarly oil seeds with respect to cooking oil, government is trying to promote cultivation of oil seeds among farmers. So these are long-term measures, and gradually I think with this these factors which cause inflation can be tackled.
One last question from your hobbies, which is playing badminton and traveling.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about any one of your hobby of your choice, about how is it going to be helpful in your career in civil services?
I can tell with respect to traveling, sir. Traveling as a hobby has helped me to overcome this fear of striking conversation with strangers. Whenever I go to a new place, for some or the other reason, I have to talk to someone who is in that place, and in this way, I become more broad-minded in opening up conversations with strangers. As an administrator, it is very much important that we go and reach out to the people rather than expecting people to come to us. So that is one thing, sir. And also traveling helped me to broaden my perception regarding various cultures, the diversity of the country that is present. And as an administrator, a person should be broad-minded about cultures, and he should be tolerant. So I think this way my hobby can help my career as an administrator.
Pass on to chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So I pass on to.
Okay.
I have passed on.
So Mourya, ICMR has recently made a statement that third wave is likely to strike by August end. Now, presuming this statement to be correct, and I also presume that you are the district collector of one of the districts of Telangana, of Andhra Pradesh. How would you, right from today, with just about 1.5 months, what are the immediate steps that you would take?
Yes, sir. As a district collector, first thing I will do to tackle the third wave is improve the health infrastructure, anticipate the problem beforehand, and improve the capacity of the health infrastructure present in the district, like increasing the beds, available beds, increasing the oxygen cylinders, try to procure more oxygen concentrators to the government hospitals. So all these steps will take beforehand, so that when a wave, usually this wave comes in a spike, so that there are very high number of cases in a very short span of time, and it's very difficult to get all these items at that time. So beforehand we can procure it. Apart from that, preventive measures will be taken up, sir. Any kind of super spreader events will be avoided in the district. A circular will be given such that super spreader events will be avoided, like restricting the number of people attending to the marriage, selectively opening up the hill stations or any tourist areas that are present in the district. So all these preventive measures will be taken. And apart from that, we'll constantly regulate outside movement, public movement, whether people are following COVID appropriate behavior, such as use of masks. And for example, shops, guidelines will be given to the shops such that they'll allow people only with masks. And if there is any shop which is allowing people without masks, they'll be fined. Such type of punitive measures will also be brought, so that these preventive measures will be taken up.
So you will not undertake maximize vaccination program?
Yes, sir. My vaccination program will also be a priority, but since it is subject to the availability of vaccines, so these measures will give priority. Apart from that, we'll continue with the existing vaccination.
Good. So Mourya, now the last question could be from a subject of your choice.
You can ask me about Andhra Pradesh.
Sorry, about?
About Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. So tell me, Mourya, Andhra Pradesh is a coastal state.
Yes.
Now, there have been many, I would say, natural, disasters like cyclones, being the coastal. Bay of Bengal, even otherwise, is more rough than Arabian Sea.
Yes.
So tell me, what are the long-term measures or long-term steps which should be taken to ensure that in case any such cyclonic storm strikes the coast of Andhra, there will be least damage to life and property? Something on the lines of what Odisha has done.
Yes, sir. With respect to cyclones, it's a recurrent, very frequent disaster that hits our state. So regarding measures, first thing I'll be doing is strengthen the shelter houses that are present along the coastal area. So when the cyclone strikes, people has to be relocated on an immediate basis. So this cyclone shelter houses will be strengthened across the coastal districts. Secondly, the cyclone warning system will be strengthened. Like currently, to the government level, we receive cyclone alerts from the Indian Meteorological Department. But from government to public, the information has to be disseminated at a very faster pace. So that mechanism would be strengthened, so that people will receive regular updates about any impending disaster. This way they will voluntarily relocate to the shelter houses, and it can result in reducing loss of lives. Thirdly, one more step I will take is across the beach, measures such as shelter belts, promoting the growth of mangroves or any trees that can act as shelter belts, it will be taken, development will be taken place, so that the loss to the property can be minimized. We can't avoid them completely, but loss to the property can be minimized. Also, in major cities, infrastructure developments can be taken place. Like, for example, usually whenever a disaster comes, cyclone comes, major problem we see is a power outage, and it takes almost 4-5 days to restore the power supply. So underground electric cabling is one measure that can be taken up to tackle this problem. So such measures will be taken up. So by targeting these multiple areas, we can tackle these disasters.
Very good.
Mourya, nice personality and topped with good knowledge, good body language. So that is how I see, right? So only thing is that two things should give you more confidence. Number one, you have crossed the biggest hurdle and you are today sitting here because you are one of the few. So that is the thing that you have achieved, which should give you confidence. Number two is your own knowledge. So in your physical appearance, look little more confident and cheerful. All right. So don't look sad or anything. You have no reason to be sad in any way. You should give the appearance of confidence. That is what I think is required. Number two is on knowledge front, on personality front, excellent, very good. Only two suggestions I can give you. Chip manufacturing, you gave wonderful answer. Why? What are the issues and what government of India is doing? Similarly, space tourism and India's initiative, very good. Internet of Things, please look
Yes, sir.
up. You did not know this. You can straight away say that I have not. It's a very new concept, and it has been talked of for industrial automation, not a general Internet of Things, but Internet of robotic things. Okay, so if you don't know, there is no harm in simply accepting that while I know Internet of Things, I have not heard of Internet of robotic.
Yes.
And one more, yes, business model of telecom companies, why they are so cheap in India. Look into the business model. They have adopted a model whereby capital cost, all of them are saving almost 40% capital cost. And that is how, so when you said they are all incurring losses, imagine if they were to spend 40% more on capital asset base. So this is a very good example of cooperation amongst private sectors where they have distributed the cost. So you are an ICT man, so it will be good if you look into this cost aspect of telecom companies.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is all. Your reply on BSNL was great. Even I was posted in Jodhpur. We used to go to Pakistan border. The only signal that was available was BSNL. So मुन्ना भाव, if आप विनोद जी पता नहीं आप गए हैं कि नहीं, there is a place called मुन्ना भाव.
I know. I've not been.
So the only signal you get there is BSNL, and all those villagers are surviving only because BSNL is there. So this is you were very good.
Rajasthan has a good penetration of BSNL.
Yes. So wish you all the best and
Thank you.
cash on your positivities and say if you don't know.
Sure, sir.
No need to reply to everything. I don't expect you to know everything. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So just accept. नहीं आता नहीं आता कोई बात. Wish you all the best. Over to you, Vinod ji.
Thank you, sir.
So Maurya, you have done very good. I would say, uh, very impressive interview. You're smart. You are, uh, you know, pleasing personality. You are alive. I found you very alive. Uh, Alive in the sense that you were, with excitement. You were assertive. You were excited about giving the answers, and you could communicate well. So your personality overall is very good. Uh, you When you go for the actual interview, kindly improve the tie knot. It was all the time. मेरा नजर आपकी tie knot पे जा रही थी.
Sure, sir, I'll take care.
So you would do you should not invite attention of the board members to any other thing except what you speak. So otherwise you are excellent. You covered all the topics very well. Traveling, देखो अपना देश, Amravati, Vizag, you tackled very well. Drone policy, also I tried to corner you and maybe push you, but then you came out with the correct thing that it is actually pro drone policy. People are very happy. They say that it is going to take India into another orbit. So you should read more, because drone rules I think will prevail for some more weeks, and could be one of the questions on the pan from the in the actual UPSC. Uh, India, China also you replied very well. External Affairs Minister is exactly to the point. And the third wave thing, of course, it was not as structured as it could be, but you covered all the points one by one. Please remember that vaccination is a very key thing.
Yes.
And make it in an order manner. Start with prevention. Start with prevention. I mean, for every disease, the first thing is that you prevent.
Yes.
Health infrastructure will certainly come, but first of all should be, I will try to prevent people to get infected in the third wave totally. And prevention would mean, area of activities, awareness, some restrictions, some containments, kind of thing. In fact, if you read the Prime Minister's statement yesterday, he has mentioned this. We have to prevent third wave at any cost. The emphasis is on prevent. He has not started with saying he make all arrangement in health infrastructure, presuming that you will not take proper preventive care. So prevention, vaccination, health infrastructure, and then if something happens, then what is your mechanism which you would place to deal with the crisis, which means that people are in the hospitals, something like Bombay model.
Yes.
Providing oxygen, providing medicines, providing hospital beds is one thing, enough medical, but look at Delhi. They said the quota as such is not less. We are not able to transport. There are not enough cryogenic tankers. So at times it so happens that you have the resource, but you can't put to use. On the contrary, Bombay handled it because they kept a close bonding there. Whoever required, the resource was provided. So a good management of COVID crisis, if the third wave strikes, will be put in place. So that is where your management and administration role would come into, importance. So otherwise, excellent. Everything was fine. Anything you would like to know? We have rated you around 64-65%, Mourya, which is pretty high, because we are really impressed with your electronics and communication, your core subject. As Mr. Khanna has already mentioned, please keep that in mind.
Yes.
Your replies on these issues should be very professional. Who else in India you would like to know about electronics and communication engineering than a BTech from, a reputed institution like NIT Warangal and IITs. Even the governments bank on you, people like you. So beyond you, nobody can be more professional. So try to build, that capability that you are able to talk like a real electronics and communication engineer. So any questions, Mourya?
No, sir, I think the feedback was good. I'll try to work on the suggestions both of you provided.
And I liked when I asked you about the last question, I was very happy when you said, sir, ask me from Andhra Pradesh, my state. That shows the confidence. Ask me anything about Andhra. It's such a big subject that you gave. You did not give one small hobby of yours, sir, football, sir, chess. You left a very big field before the board and they could have asked any question. So that shows the boldness about your personality. So very good. Keep it up and do very well. Your performance should not be lesser than what you have showed today. It should be much, much better than what it is now.
Yes, sir. I'll work on this. Thank you.
All the best, Mourya.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
All the best, Mourya.
Thank you.
All the best, Mourya.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.